Boop boop bop bottom bum. Boop boop bop bottom bottom da dum. Boop boop bop bottom bum. Beep bop boop bop boop bop boop da bottom bum. Beep bop boop bop beep beep boop bop bottom bum. Hello folks, this is Dave Lentz. It's June 30th, 2018. I haven't done a video, unfortunately. Time does fly by, and I haven't done a video in the last month or so, and so I thought I'd wrap up the first half of 2018 with a short video. In the Janus case, the Supreme Court ruled against requiring people who are not members of unions. It's not. I didn't read the ruling, even though I'm a lawyer, and I'm sorry to say that I haven't read the ruling, so I'm sort of flying by the seat of my pants here. The Supreme Court basically struck down requirements that people who are not members of unions be required to pay fees to unions, despite the fact that they aren't union members, in those areas where I guess it's in right to work states where you don't have to be a member of the union in order to work. The subject of unions has always been very controversial. I'm originally, I was raised in Pennsylvania, very unionized state when I grew up. I live in Virginia now, and it's a right to work state, so sort of been subjected to both environments. Let me just say this. One of the, I have to sort of put a plug in here for my novel, Rao's Solution, wherein the solution in Rao totally gets around the issue of unions in terms of trying to interject some fairness into wage structures. It does so sort of in a unique way of, for lack of a better expression, I guess it is sort of a minimum wage type of solution, but it's tied to the pay of the higher ups in the company. It's the issue of fair pay permeates a lot of the videos, either directly or subtly, in a lot of the videos that I do for reasonandbalance.com, and even the ones that tackle issues such as free trade, which I'm also very interested in. I taught international business at the university level for a couple of years. I was an adjunct professor. There's no question that if you look at the charts and graphs, and there's one or two of them on one or two of the videos that I do on trade or the World Trade Organization or whatever, the issue of how the upper 5, 2, or 1% of the wage earners, their wealth is increasing dramatically faster, and middle income people are their wages have basically been stagnant for close to 30 years now, and it's creating this big gap between the haves and the have-nots, and we're seeing this throughout the world. A big issue is this widening of the super rich from the rest of us. And if, for example, the Republicans want to do things like privatize Social Security and all that, well, I'm not going to debate the pros and cons of that right here, but let me just say this, that if you're going to privatize, if you want to have any chance of making that a remotely fair system, it would seem to me that you've got to do something about the fairness of the wage structure that's going on in this country. And it is a subtle, behind the scenes, but very critical element of this increasing animosity in the political debate in this country. And it goes to the issue, this whole issue of trade, free trade. The title of this website is reasonandbalance.com, and the reason it's balance, the balance part, it's reason and balance. And the reason that there's balance is to try to strike some notion of civility and middle ground of things, because this country right now is sort of on the verge of being sort of torn apart, and we've got to start talking to each other, and it's got to be based on discussions as to what the facts are. Everything is into hyperbole like never seen before, and part of that is because of Twitter accounts and discussions being conducted within 140 characters or in blurbs, and everybody wants to get headlines, and the whole level of the debate just becomes so hyper. People walk around, I know I find myself in this camp sometimes, just really upset, and you can't have a discussion on those terms. Anyway, back to basics. So technology changes have put everybody on edge, because it's very difficult to plan, and even under the best of circumstances, because of the quick changing we see in technical capabilities, technology. Everybody, it's very difficult to plan and know what your future is going to hold, and everybody seems to have some feeling of unease about their own security, and all this just totally exacerbates the problem. Well, anyway, Rao's solution basically gets around sort of the union issue and tries to take a step towards solving the wealth gaps situation. So that's my plug for my novel. Let me just talk about Wall Street for 1 second. In my earlier life, I worked for the Virginia Housing Development Authority, and we worked with investment bankers on Wall Street, and they're very rich, very powerful people. Just look at the number of people who have come from Goldman Sachs, for example, and become Treasury secretaries or whatever. They're very smart people, very wealthy people, and a lot of times they give to both political parties. So to put them in one camp or the other is at times stretching it. But I will tell you this, that I'm convinced, especially at the levels that the stock market is right now, that a lot of them are drinking the same Kool-Aid, and if that's if I'm being well, they're drinking the same water fountain. And let me just say this: I said in early January that I was a little bit skeptical about the levels, and I thought that the stock market was at perilous highs at the time, and the biggest reason for that was first of all, most studies show that international freer trade is better than trade barriers. That's number one. Number two, huge federal deficits imply higher interest rates, and my videos on how interest rates are set and all that. If you put the two of those together, higher interest rates and my stock valuation videos, increase, and we've already had a couple rate hikes. Higher interest rates strongly imply lower stock values. In addition, trade barriers should impede the ability of stocks as well, and they should impede the general overall economy. That's the situation we find ourselves in right now, and I, for the life of me, have just been amazed that the stock market has stayed as high as it has. And I think it's basically, frankly, because most of the guys on Wall Street probably have a little bit of a Republican bent, are very happy to see somebody in office that is anti-regulation. And it's true, that's probably the biggest thing that the Trump administration has done that's been pro-business, is, aside from the tariff issue, is try to do away with some regulations. That should enhance stock values. But when you look at the size of the federal deficit right now, and if you look at where interest rates are likely to head, and now this looming trade war we've got going on with China and the Canadians, I mean, who loves us? I mean, at this point, who loves us? I mean, and even if we come out of this unscathed, and if Trump reverses course tomorrow afternoon, who is going to trust us in the future? Because just look at the rhetoric. It's just like, how do you? If I'm sitting in government somewhere, a seat of power, if I'm in charge of some other country, how am I going to look at the Americans and say, can I believe a thing they say or a thing they believe in? I thought that this was we were dealing with the Republican Party. They come to office, they've always been free trade, and now we're talking all these tariffs and all this kind of stuff. It's just all beyond me. And Wall Street, meanwhile, those guys up there, for some reason, seem to think, hey, we got Trump, that's better than some Democrat in office. Well, I don't know, but it's all, frankly, a big mystery to me. The only thing that I can really think that really anywhere remotely that would justify the stock valuations that we're seeing right now is the fact that the world economy is very interrelated, and there's a lot of growth opportunities in elsewhere that should drive the markets up, because the world economy, if it's freer trade, opens up more and more doors abroad to increase earnings. And that's got to be the only thing that's sustaining it. But given that scenario, higher tariffs imply that those doors would be closed. So it just doesn't make any sense to me. But anyway, maybe you're wiser than I am. And also, we are also below 5%, which is the unemployment, which is the traditional benchmark for full employment, which implies inflation, which should also fuel increasing interest rates, and should also be a drag on the stock market. And if China stops buying our treasury bonds, interest rates are going to go right through the freaking roof. So I'll tell you the truth. I don't believe in timing the market. If you basically know enough about me and seen enough about my videos, I don't believe you can time the market. And so I'm sort of sitting here giving you all the reasons why you should time the market. But I don't believe, if your time investment horizon for investing is more than 5 years, I guess my fundamental thought process has always been, go ahead and invest. In the long run, stocks always outperform bonds. That's been the history. And if you try to time the market, you're just crazy. It's more or less just diversify, buy the market with like an S&P 500 fund of some description, some kind of, an exchange traded fund or something like that. Just buy the market, sit there, invest, and just sit back. But I'll tell you, I say that with some degree of trepidation right now, because I think the market is an incredibly risky place to be right now. Incredibly risky. In fact, I can't think of a time when I've ever thought that the market was more at risk than it is right now. So I must say that I myself am at loggerheads because my basic theory of investing is really being challenged right now, in my own mind. But I'll tell you one thing: I would not be in the market if I was 60 or older, on the verge of retirement, or looking for retirement, or if I thought I needed a big chunk of my wealth within the next 3 or 4 years or something like that. I probably, as sickly as bonds rates are right now, I probably would frankly be in the money market. But anyway, so I don't like to be doctored gloom and doom, but that's sort of where I am. Now, on the other hand, this is reasonandbalance.com, and so I'm going to try to keep this shorter. I'm already beyond what I wanted to be, and so we try to take an approach that is we try to analyze the facts and try to be rational and not too emotional about things. But as you can see, I get a little wound up myself every now and then. But I try to avoid that. And one of the ways to do that is to exercise. So with everything that has just been said, we will cut here in a moment to me doing a little session on exercise and I'll tell you one thing. I'm watching that portion of the video myself. I pre-recorded it a day or two ago. I wanted to redo it actually, but I've sort of got a bug and I haven't been very well, and I can't redo the video in time for this video because, frankly, my form I was just sort of aghast at how bad my form was. But I'm getting a little bit up there in years, and maybe you just go out there and you just try to cheat a little bit, but hey, it is what it is, anyway, I'm still trying to see what to do about the karaoke situation. I love to sing, and there's some issues there. I won't disclose them right now. I really want to do it, but I've got to work through a couple other issues on that. What else? I think that's going to be it for now. Hey, thanks for watching, and I want to do more videos in the future and try to get back on the track with more, especially the economic type stuff, some political stuff too, which I'm very interested in. But so anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. It's Dave Lentz for ReasonandBalance.com.
Okay, folks. I am David Lentz. I am 63 years and 49 weeks exactly old. I weigh 214.6 pounds. And so I'm 3 weeks short of my 64th birthday. We're going to see how many push-ups we can do today. I hope we have a good day. We had a really good day yesterday. We met a personal objective of doing 215-pound pull-downs, 10 of them, 10 215-pound pull-downs on a machine yesterday at the gym. That's pretty much the equivalent of a pull-up. But I'm just shy of 6'3", and it's tough to find a good place to do pull-ups. So I'm feeling kind of frisky. So let's see what we can do. Wish me luck.
Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I think that was 72. Boop boop bop boop ba dum bum. Boop boop bop boop ba dum ba da dum da dum da dum ba dum bum. Beep bop boop bop boop bop boop da ba dum bum. Beep bop boop bop boop boop bop ba dum bum.